Supercross season is here, and I think these 5 tracks will help you hone your skills before the start of the 2024 season. I have tracks in here that I selected because they are just, well, easy to get your feet wet in Supercross, all the way up to tracks that are really difficult because of specific obstacles. I do just go through these tracks and show you the specific things about each one that I think will help you, and I do really think all these tracks will help you. If you can master these, you'll be pretty goated at Supercross. And also stick around to the very end because I have a bonus tip in there that I think will really be a game changer in the 2024 season. All right, boys, we're going to start off with Indy here. All right, Indianapolis. I chose this track for a few reasons. It's got really easy whoops and pretty easy rhythms. I'm going to show you a couple laps. I'm going to show you if you're just starting to get used to Supercross or you've just starting to get into it, this is the track I would recommend you start on. And these are the rhythms I would suggest that you do. And then I'll show you kind of, we'll like ramp it up from there. But as you can see, it's pretty easy. The whoops, these are whoops that basically you could just lean back in and you'll be all right. I think probably the hardest part about this track are gonna be those like off camber tables like that, but everything else is pretty easy. This is what I would suggest that you do if you're just getting started. Just double everything. Do this until you can do it like 10 times and then you'll get into it. Now this lap, I'll show you once you're able to do that double and you're kind of consistent everywhere. Here's what I would suggest doing. Through this section, we're just going to do the same thing, just kind of hop on over. That's really easy, guys. Like, you have to do very minimal input. Same thing there, just triple, single. There's like not a lot of scrubbing. These whoops, again, I'm literally just leaning back. I'm not going to lean forward or anything, and as you can see, you can get through them just fine. Now we're going to go to this next rhythm here. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of doubling, we're going to go outside, and then we're just going to triple. And then you can actually triple in the corner, but I'm a bot, so you know what I mean. So we're going to triple there. That's once you're able to double through there and you're able to do it consistent, try tripling, get used to that triple in. And then once you're absolutely used to that, what we're going to do is we're going to do this rhythm here, which is actually pretty gnarly. You're going to wheel tap, and then you're going to quad. And a lot of people know this, but if you're just getting into soupy, this is the fast line. And then to go fast, we're really just trying to scrub everywhere, as you can see. And then once you're in the whoops, if you start to get it bent out of shape like that, see, if you watch that back, I did lean forward, which brought the rear end down and the front end up. That helped me, not skip a whoop. And then, yeah, now we're scrubbing this. Now we're actually making through there. So that's Indy. This is the first track I would suggest. After that, we're going to move to a track, Glendale. I think once you've mastered Indy, I would move to Glendale. And I think some people think Glendale may be even easier than this track, but let's head on over there now. Hold on, let's get this quad one more time. Oh my gosh, I scrubbed it. That was actually crazy. All right, let's move to Glendale. All right, boys, we're over here on Glendale now. And I've chosen Glendale for a couple reasons. It's got some really easy rhythms for those of you that are just starting out. You can really just focus on getting around the track. It's very similar to Indy in that way. And I'm going to show you those easy rhythms. You're going to triple that, not K-Sid, by the way. Here, you're just going to double on this table, off the table, triple. On a 250, that might be difficult, so you could just double your way through. But really, I chose Glendale for one reason and one reason only, and that is on-off tables. As you can see right here, you can triple up onto that. And then we have another section right here where there's 2 on-off tables. And this is something that people really struggle with. I mean, like really bad. They seem simple, but people really struggle with timing on-off tables. And my purpose behind this video is a little bit different than I usually would do. I'm not as in depth and more just showing you like, hey, if you struggle with a specific obstacle, like on-off tables, this is the track you're going to want to grind. And I think that is really how you get good. That's how you get good at this game. You really just got to find something you suck at, and then you just have to become good at it. There's just no way around it. And so if you're struggling with on-off tables, this is the track to get better at them. Also, here's the big rhythms you can do through here. If you don't butch that, you can go all the way inside, which is W. But here, I'm gonna show you. All right, and this is something we were really struggling with even at the LAN, is timing these on off. See, I came up a little bit short. All right, so that's perfect. I came up a little bit short, and see how much time I lost right there? I totally threw that entire section because I came up a little bit short. And at the LAN, that is what we were struggling with the most, was that was really where we were all losing or gaining time, was we were either undershooting or overshooting the on-off table. And in turn, we would lose a few seconds through that section. And on a track like that, that was really not very hard, and everyone was running the same pace, you overshoot an on-off table and, you know, there you go. You lose 2 positions. So we're going to do that correct this time and not overshoot it. I'm going to show you how much time you can gain just by hitting that section clean versus, okay, let's see. I ran a 104.1, and let's see, this time is going to be probably 2 or 3 seconds faster than that, assuming I do everything else the same. See, I don't even really need to go this wide, and then you just, oh, perfect. All right. But like, it's dangerous too, because if you send it too far, you can definitely overshoot it, and that would be an issue. But yeah, I just wanted, I picked Glendale. I think this is a really good one for you guys to just get good at on-off tables. Everything else is really easy, especially if you're struggling with those rhythms. You can just double your way through. The whoops are easy. But yeah, all right, let's move on to the next track that I think is going to help you with just big rhythms. All right, I lied. I said big rhythms, but actually what this is going to do, this track is going to teach you how to jump into corners and actually help you a lot in the whoops. This is, of course, San Diego, and I think people really underestimate the value of learning how to jump into corners and really time jumping into corners, because it can be really difficult. So I'm going to assume that you guys are, ooh, see, like right there, oh my gosh, have figured out the basics of Soupy now. And I'm going to show you, just, this track is just really good. There's so many like over jumps into corners. It's almost every section, and doing it well can really help you in your, you know, just lowering your lap times. Because if you're just jumping everything, this is something I struggle with. Like, if you're just jumping everything perfectly, where you're just trying to downside the next jump, you're gonna have to slow down a lot. Like, watch, I'll show you right here. Like, if I'm trying to downside this, like, we have to slow down so much if I try to downside everything, you know, versus just over jumping and flat landing. And this is where landing with your front wheel high, but leaning forward really comes into play, or really just leaning forward when you're landing to help absorb that, you know, that impact into the corner can really be beneficial, or you just don't suck there. Also, this thing has some pretty good alternate lines. You can double, triple onto the table. So if you want to experiment with alternate lines and like race lines, this is a good track for that too. But I also think this track just has a lot to offer. This track is actually really difficult. Stoney, I think, like, underscaled everything after Anaheim 1. This is round 2 of the 2023 Supercross series, and I think everyone was complaining everything was too big at round 1. So he kind of shrunk everything, just munched those whoops, by the way. And so everything feels really small and like peaky, and I don't know, it's just a lot different. And I don't really like it, but it definitely can teach you how to go fast. And there's definitely skills to be learned here, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think if you're struggling with jumping into corners, or really if you're struggling with whoops, or, oh my goodness, or just like big rhythms in general, this track is a good one, because I know a lot of people, like, this triple is really hard for people to get. And then there's another triple, there's a quad at the end here, oh my gosh. And yeah, and then that, I don't know, this track just helps teach you timing. I mean, Supercross is all just timing. Supercross is pretty much just all timing, but I really thought that over jumping was something that was kind of an underrated skill. And these whoops too, these whoops are really difficult. The best thing I can tell you for the whoops, as I'll go back to them, the best thing to do in these whoops is make sure that you downside this little double first, and then shift up into third, and then just lean forward a little bit. And once your back tire hits, then you lean back, if that makes sense. So we're gonna do it again. I'll show you one more time. Hopefully you guys liked W transfer. Call me Kevin Windham. Hopefully you guys are liking this video. It's a little bit different than I would normally do it, but I thought this would be kind of cool. So we're going to, holy cow, downside this, lean forward in third. Make sure as soon as your front tire hits, then you can lean back, but you got to lean forward to force that front end down. That's something that I see a lot of people just lean back into whoops, just thinking that you can just lean back and hope it works out. And I'll show you exactly what happens if you do that, because it just won't work. You have to lean forward sometimes, and sometimes you have to just see if you just lean back, it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you even have to be neutral. You don't have to, you know, don't lean forward, don't lean back, just don't touch your lean stick at all. But we'll try that again. We'll just lean back and see what happens. I have pretty confident it's not going to work out. Just going to lean back. Oh, it worked. Oh, no, it didn't. No. See, it almost works, but what happens is you just get your front end high and then it starts to bounce. But if you lean forward, that's really how you, that's really how you make up all the time, is to lean forward and just kind of skim across them instead of, you know, trying to just wheelie across them. Your name's not skill. So if you lean forward, get that front end settled, and then sometimes it'll skip and you have to lean forward again. But yeah, I don't know, whoops are hard. You just have to do like a million reps, and that's just, it is what it is. All right, boys, welcome to Houston, which is actually my personal, probably my favorite Supercross track in the game. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Not just, it is very, very flowy and very fun, but it just has a lot to offer in, you know, in terms of teaching you how not to suck. And that's what we're all trying to do, is just not suck at bikes. All right, first of all, it's got some little doubles into corners. Again, kind of just like San Diego, where you have to jump into the corners, so you can get good at that. It's got these weird single things, but right here, it's got some really big rhythms. You can quad, and then you can triple, and then double. You can actually quad single into this, but really here is the biggest deal. These whoops, so many people struggle with these whoops. These whoops require so much manual input on your rider lean. It's crazy. And actually, I think this is one of the more underrated sections. It's really easy to over jump sections or jumps in that section right there, and you can lose a ton of time. So it teaches you kind of how to stay low and how to hit some big rhythms, and also some gnarly whoops. And so we'll hit these whoops a few times just so I can show you some things. I want you guys to take a look at my controller, because I think that's going to show you like just how much manual input you have to do to go like really fast through the whoops. Holy cow, almost died. We're going to shift up into third in the corner, lean forward, then back, and then right there it starts to get a little bent out of shape. I mean, there wasn't actually, that run was pretty clean. Not a ton of input, but that's kind of what you want. But as you can see at the end, you do have to lean forward, lean back, lean forward. You have to manipulate that front tire so that it continues to hit the top of the whoops. Because if you just lean back, you'll have the same, you know, kind of situation that you had over there on, what's it called? Over there on San Diego, and where you'll just end up going over the bars. Not too many challenging rhythms. I'll show you that quad here. But really, that's why I kind of like having all these different tracks, is because you can kind of focus on specific things. There's this disgusting quad, by the way. Shift up into third in the corner. Oh, see, like, all right, that's perfect. I missed my front tire going into those whoops. That's why it's so important to lean forward. I was leaning forward, but then I leaned back a little bit too early, and I missed my front tire on the first whoop. And that's what happens. So really, like, you really have to make sure, and you can do that a few ways. Sometimes people will even like do a little mini scrub going into the whoops, where they'll like lean a little bit, you know, like if you could see my controller there, just like kind of lean the bike over just a little bit. I know Cam and Linz and a lot of these guys like to sit and then stand. You know, they sit right at the face of the whoops and then stand back up, and that helps kind of shove the front end down. Depending on the whoop pad, I do that. Sometimes I don't, but this one I don't really feel like I need to. Also, corner entry going into these whoops can make a big difference. All right, so see, okay, this is really good, actually. I know I crashed and you guys are like, Doc, you're a bot. But this, okay, hold on. We're gonna watch that in replay. Hold on, because there is some things that I want to show you right here that I don't think you would normally be able to see. So we're gonna redo this. All right, you can see I did hit that one, but you see how light I'm hitting those? It's because I went too fast into the whoops, and then I really got planted in that third one, and I missed the fourth one. So if we rewind that, okay, watch this. So I barely skim the top of them, which is fine, but then I slam into that one, and I end up completely missing that fourth one, basically, which then sends me into you know, just sadness land. So what that means is you really have to make sure, if you're going really fast, you either have to let off. East Rutherford is a track like that where you almost have to let off going into the whoops, or you have to scrub it even lower to make sure that you get into them. Oh my gosh, that's just OEM front tucks. All right, here's a clean run right here. Oh yeah. All right, so let's watch that back. I'll show you exactly what we did in order to get this run so clean. We're gonna do this view right here. All right, so as we're going in, we're lean forward, and then we see how much better, like more contact we make with the top of that whoop there. We still drop a little bit here, but we're able to touch down on that fourth one. So it really just makes sure right here, I'm still just leaned forward. We do drop like crazy here, but see, I lean forward to kind of absorb that. Then we can wheel tap. You know, sometimes you kind of just along for the ride, but really you just got to make sure you start touching all the whoops. And then especially these whoops, as you get to the end, sometimes you have to wheel tap the whoop to make sure your front end touches the other one, so you can get through. It's not always pretty. It's not always perfect, especially these whoops are really hard to skim, but I hope you guys kind of get the gist. All right, boys, we're over here on Arlington now. I think probably one of the more difficult tracks for a few reasons. It's got a lot of timing. The whoops are really difficult. Like, they're big, but you also have to slow down for them, which can be really challenging. And it has a dragon's back. We haven't really talked about dragon's backs. This dragon's back in particular is actually pretty difficult. You need to make sure that because you got to get onto that table, and as you can see, if you miss it, you can lose a ton of time, and so it can be really challenging. But here is the whoops. These are whoops that I would stay in second, because look, you got to slow down and try to hug those tough blocks as tight as possible, because you got two basically inside S section here. I got this big over under bridge, which can be really terrifying, really. Little double into the corner, and then you got a really big rhythm here. But really, I think what I would spend the most time on this track is getting used to that dragon's back and those whoops, and slowing down for the corner on the whoops, because that's not something you see all the time. And I remember racing this. I think I raced in the heat here. I did not qualify into the main last year. The biggest issue for everybody was, or like the biggest time saver, was when everyone was able to slow down in these whoops and do this right here. Oh my gosh. Versus going all the way outside, you save so much time. Inside there, that was a huge one. And that's like, this is one of the only tracks that I think that's on, really. I mean, I guess East Rutherford is like that too, but I feel like it's even more important on this track, because East Rutherford, you have a huge straightaway. This one you have like inside to inside, so there's no reason to go outside before, because you don't need any speed. So it's just really challenging. And then yeah, that dragon's back is pretty difficult too. You can also like triple single here, but and honestly, this little double right here, this thing drives me nuts. Let's try third gear on the 450. Oh yeah, that carried way more speed. That was a lot easier. Watch how much slower it is if I just rail this. Oh my gosh. Let me show you here what it looks like to overshoot this corner, and how much time you can lose if you go all the way in, like all the way to the outside. See, See, there's no reason, because you have to slam on the brakes right here. So you just want to make sure you hold that nice and tight there. Again, I don't know. I just thought that was a skill that really, it was something I needed to work on, was being able to slow down in the whoops. And really, it comes back to what I was talking about at Houston, of manipulating your front wheel to make sure that it's hitting all of the top of the whoops. And you have to do that, then slowing down. So it can be a little bit difficult, but anyway, I think those are my favorite tracks. And I think my bonus tip for you would be make sure you're playing in E-Road, because E-Road, a lot of these jump faces and everything changes in E-Road. You can go a lot farther. There are certain jumps that you can do, like quads that you can do in E-Road that you can't do without E-Road. So make sure, put your E-Road on like 0.3 or 0.4, maybe even 0.5, and then just burn laps. I mean, really at the end of the day, getting good at MX bikes comes down to just spinning laps. There's no tip, there's no trick that really can help you other than just experience. Somebody in one of my chats one time said that MX bikes is the epitome of practice makes perfect, and I could not agree with that more. It is an extremely difficult game that just requires reps. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I tried to give you some little personal knowledge that has helped me get faster at Supercross through the years, and I hope that you guys find it helpful. But let me know down in the comments if this was a mid video or a W video, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next one, boys. Peace.